Yeah.
First you mount the pressure gauge at the outlet of the machine and open the valve completely. Mount the high pressure hose. Mount the right equipment. The right lance with the right nozzle. Then you check the working pressure on the data sheet and you make a test about the working pressure on the machine by starting it up. On the outlet we can see the the pressure is 180 bars, which is the right working pressure for this machine. And you can see when you release the trigger, the machine stops. But what we are going to do now is to measure the cutoff pressure of the machine. The first thing you do is to close the safety valve completely. The reason for the safety valve has to be closed is that if it's set a little lower than the bypass pressure normally has to be set, then every time you release the trigger, the machine will bypass through the safety valve. Now we have blocked the safety valve, and now we are ready for adjustment. The adjustment has to be made on behind of the unloader, on the screw here, and on the counter nut. Before we make the adjustment, then we take off the lance and we open the gun, or just take off the hose so the water can run free out of the machine. We then start the machine, and then we check the bypass pressure, what it is in the first place, before we make the setting. Now we close the valve very slowly. The cutoff pressure of the machine, it has to be between 20 and 30 bars higher than the working pressure. The working pressure on this machine was 180 bars, but as you could see, the cutoff pressure, it was about 140 bars. 240 bars, and that is about 30 bar too high. So we have to adjust the bypass pressure a little bit down. We do that here. Loosen the counter nut, and then we turn the screw counterclockwise. Then we tighten the counter nut, and then we make the test again and check what the bypass pressure is right now. Now we can see that the bypass pressure and the cutoff pressure, it's about 190 bars, and that's too little. So we readjust, loosening the counter nut, and turn the screw clockwise. Tighten the counter nut, and again we're going to try to check the cutoff pressure. Now you can see the cutoff pressure is 210 bars, and that's 30 bars higher than the normal working pressure, so the cutoff pressure is okay now. The next thing to do is to readjust the safety valve. When we do that, we set the valve to, on this machine we will set it on about 205 bars, so the pressure is a little lower than the cutoff pressure. Then we open the safety valve, loosen it, and when the machine cuts off, then we know that it cuts off because of the setting of the safety valve and not because of the setting of the bypass pressure. When it cuts off through the safety valve at 205 bars, or always a little bit lower than the cutoff pressure, then we tighten the safety valve again, and we tighten up it between half and one turn, because then we are sure that the machine bypasses through the bypass valve and not through the safety valve. But you'll see. Start up the machine. Close the valve. This means that it cuts off through the safety valve, and to ensure that it will not happen, then we have to tighten the safety valve again, so it will be activated when the pressure is higher than the cutoff pressure. So we turn it in for about half a turn. Then we try to close the valve again to see if the right cutoff pressure is the one where we have made the adjustment. Then we can see the cutoff pressure. It's 205 to 10 bars, which is the same pressure as we made the setting for the bypass. So this means that now the safety valve is set a little bit higher, so the right cutoff pressure is made on the machine. Let's make a check. The working pressure 180 bars. And the cutoff pressure has to be between 20 and 30 bars higher. This means that all the settings, they are done now, and afterwards we'll take the lance and we'll run the machine a little bit. Starting it, release the trigger, run the machine again just to be sure that everything's okay. Working pressure 180 bars.